Dodge Grand Caravan. Today we have a crank no start. Okay, and let's confirm the issue first. I have a key in my hand. Let's try to crank. Crank no start. It was cranking good. And in this video I'm going to show you everything what I did, how I troubleshooted this issue, and before you will start blaming the fuel pump, I'm going to show you what you have to check first before you will start replacing any parts. Let's get started. If you first time to the channel, take a second to subscribe. Very appreciated that. Okay, first what I did, I listened for fuel pump prime, and the fuel pump is located under the floor in the tank and somewhere here in this area. And when you turn the key to the on position, you should hear the first couple seconds prime, like ooh. That means pump activated and got a fuel pressure to the fuel rail. Let's turn it on and listen. That's what first. And before you do that, make sure your blower fan, your radio, your whatever accessories you have, they're off. You don't want to have any other sounds. Let's just turn and listen. And as you can hear, we hear nothing. Nothing. We have no prime. That's the first indication that fuel pump is not energized, and it could be the pump or everything's down to the pump. Next, what I did, I hooked up my old school OBD scanner. This is a 10 years old, but works great for basics, and checked for codes. And we don't have any DDCs stored in the vehicle computer. Means we have no codes, we have no direction with this tool. We'll put link to all my tools down in the description. Check it out. And vehicle was parked, then didn't want to start, and I went underneath and tapped the fuel tank where the fuel pump is with a wrench. Let's try to beat this tank one more time. Might help, might not. Okay. Hope for the best. Ah, that's it. Nope. And then it fired up and started, and in a couple seconds it died again. And let's pop the hood, and I sprayed gasoline inside the air intake, and it fired it up for a few seconds and then stalled. That I knew. I have a crank signal, I have a spark, but we're missing fuel. Okay, we're under the hood. I removed the fuse relay box cover, IPM fuse and relay center, flip it upside down and locate our fuel pump fuse, 20 amps, this guy, and we should have power on both sides of the fuse, and we do have power. Good. Fuse is not our problem. What I did, I just used my test light, one end connected to the vehicle ground. Okay, how to test the relay on a road if your vehicle died. This is your fuel pump, this is your horn relay. Just swap it. If it will fire it up and run, that's good. You can drive without a horn, but you cannot drive without working fuel pump. Okay, for example, you swapped, there's nothing happened, means we need to pull it out and check for rust, corrosion, any moisture intrusion, burned terminals. As you can see, there's no any sign of that. Relay is good, visually it looks okay, and I know this relay is good condition, it works, and it's not a problem. As I said, we have a 87 and 30 connected straight to the electric fuel pump motor, and 87 is our constant power supply from fuel pump fuse. And yeah, let's check it out if we have the power down to the pin 87. And the relay fits like this, and this is our 87. Okay, let's probe it. I'm just lightly touching the terminals. I'm not pushing, not like that. See, just, and we have power. That's good. We have a power to the load side of the relay, pin 87. And it looked here on a Chrysler, we have small windows where you can back probe. Next, I checked the continuity of the fuel pump, and as I said, a fuel pump is a simple electric DC motor with a winding inside. And if we checked for ohms and continuity for resistance at the terminal number 30 and another test lead connected to the vehicle ground, electricity should go through and get back on a negative terminal. And what we're looking for resistance around 5 ohms. We don't want to see the open circuit, or we don't want to see a resistance up to 100-200 ohms. Our multimeter is working. Let's see what we have. We have 263 ohms of resistance, which is very high. For a new fuel pump, it should be around 5 ohms. That's our problem. This guy, 86, is control side of the relay, ignition control switch power. Going to turn the ignition on. We should see the prime and test light should lit for a few seconds. Let's do it. Okay. And as you can see it. And test light is lit. I hope you can see. And one more time. Here we go. Test light is lit. One more time. That's the computer primes the fuel pump. There we go. One more time. Prime. Good. We don't have any issues with the control or load side of the relay. Okay, in the last test, I have my test light connected to the battery positive, and we're checking for ground, pin number 85 over here. 85, this guy, and light should lit if we have a ground. There you go, and we have a ground. Good. We have a control, we have power, load side. We don't have any problems with the relay, with all supplies. That means we're going to the fuel pump. As we already tested the control side of the fuel pump circuit, here's our relay or power distribution box, pin number 30, down to the pump wire. There's our fuse, pin 87, load side, control side. We checked the ground, we checked the switch, the power of the computer, energizing the coil, relay closes, all good. We know the relay is fine, fuse is okay. And now we're going under the van and we'll back probe fuel pump connector for power and ground. Make sure we have a good ground and a power supply. Check the visually, and if we're happy, we'll go further and replace the pump. As you can see, I have my minivan up in the air on a jack stands. Make sure I'm safe, and the fuel pump located inside the tank. We're under the vehicle. There's a fuel tank on the driver's side, and inside the fuel tank, as you can see, there's a fuel pump unit, and unplug the connector. Just pull this red locking tab to the side. It's released the lock, and then you press this tab in and pull it out. Be careful not to pull the wires. Okay, now we're looking for any moisture, water intrusion, corrosion, burnt terminals. As you can see, it's all looks good. We have some dielectric grease here. There's no rust, no water, all greased. So looks good. Wires are fine. And I'm looking for the pins, if they spread it or not. What I'm going to do, just will do the drag test on each of them, see how it's freely going into the pin. 1, 2, those 2 is my fuel sender unit for the fuel gauge, and 3 are power to the pump. Sure they have the same resistance when you push the pin in. Just a tip in, just feeling for a drag, make sure those terminals, they're not spread out. Okay, they're all good. We don't have any problems with that. Okay, at the back, as you can see, 4 wires. This blue with the orange is our power supply to the fuel electric pump, and this is our ground to the pump, black and orange, and those 2 in the middle, this is power to the fuel sender unit, your fuel gauge float, and this is a ground to the sender unit. Okay, an idea is to test it under the load, because what multimeter does, it just only shows the potential between 2 points, and to know the exact condition of the circuit, we have to put a load, at least turn the key to the on position and see. And we're going to back probe here and check for power and a ground. Let's put our connector, let's just put a tip in here where our power, and put it back. Okay, here we go. Voltage drop test. We have our tip in on the back of the fuel pump connector on power supply wire, and another end is connected to the known good ground. Okay, now I'm going to turn key to the on position. We should have a couple seconds prime and see what voltage we have. Okay, as you can see, we had a battery voltage supplied to the pump when I primed, and means wiring is good and we're getting power to the pump. Now I'm just going to switch to the ground side of the connector, and we should see around 0 volts, like 10, 15, 20 millivolts, something like that. That means we have a good ground. Okay, let me just switch to that side. Perfect. I have installed a new pump. Vehicle is back on the road, guys. If it's helpful, thumbs up. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, and see you soon. Bye bye.